The lights dimmed slowly, but something felt different that night. Was it just another concert on the massive BTS World Tour 2026? Or was this the moment that would leave millions of hearts shattered across the world? Why did the crowd suddenly fall into an unusual silence? And why, out of all songs, did Jungkook choose one of the most emotional tributes ever written? No one was ready for what happened next, because what unfolded on that stage wasn't just a performance. It was something deeper, something raw, something painfully real. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll uncover the untold emotions behind that moment, the hidden reason why Jungkook couldn't hold back his tears, and the truth that has left armies around the world questioning everything they thought they knew about him. It all began during what was supposed to be the most electrifying night of the BTS World Tour 2026. The stadium was filled with thousands of glowing light sticks, creating an ocean of purple that stretched endlessly into the darkness. Fans were screaming, chanting, living in the moment, just like every other BTS concert. But something shifted the moment Jungkook stepped forward alone. There was no choreography, no explosive beats, just silence and a single spotlight. The moment the first notes of a song for Mama echoed through the stadium, time seemed to freeze. A song originally made famous by Boyz II Men, a song that carries the weight of gratitude, love, and unspoken sacrifices of a mother. Why this song? Why now? As Jungkook began to sing, his voice was soft, almost trembling. It wasn't the powerful, polished vocal fans were used to hearing. Instead, it felt fragile, vulnerable, real. Every word carried a kind of emotion that couldn't be rehearsed. And then it happened. Halfway through the verse, his voice cracked. For a split second, the entire stadium went silent. No screams, no cheers, just a collective gasp that rippled through tens of thousands of fans. Was he crying? Cameras zoomed in, capturing a moment that would instantly go viral across the world. Jungkook's eyes shimmered under the stage lights, and before anyone could process it, a tear rolled down his cheek that armies watching from every corner of the globe felt it at the same time. That overwhelming wave of emotion, that sudden realization that this wasn't just a performance, it was a confession, because behind the global superstar, behind the flawless image, behind the endless success, was a son who missed his mother, a son who carried memories that no stage could hide. And as the music continued, Jungkook tried to compose himself. He smiled faintly, almost apologetically, as if he didn't want to worry anyone. But the tears didn't stop. They couldn't stop. This moment quickly became one of the most talked about highlights of the BTS World Tour 2026. Clips flooded social media within minutes. Fans began analyzing every second, every expression, every breath he took. Some said it was the most genuine moment they had ever seen from him. Others wondered what triggered such deep emotion, because Jungkook has always been known as someone who rarely shows vulnerability on stage. He's strong, disciplined, and often hides his struggles behind a bright smile. So why now? Why in front of thousands of people? The answer may lie deeper than anyone expected. Over the years, Jungkook has occasionally hinted at the sacrifices his family made for him. Leaving home at a young age, training relentlessly, growing up under pressure. While fans have always admired his dedication, moments like this reveal the emotional cost behind that journey. And perhaps, this song was never just a song. It was a message, a thank you, an apology, or maybe even a regret. As he reached the chorus, his voice grew stronger, but the emotion remained. You could hear it in every note. The way he emphasized certain words. The way his eyes closed, as if he was no longer on that stage, but somewhere else entirely, somewhere personal, somewhere only he could see. Fans later shared their reactions online, many admitting they couldn't stop crying while watching the performance. One fan wrote that it felt like Jungkook was speaking directly to his mother, as if the entire stadium disappeared and it became a private moment between them. Another said it was the first time they truly understood how lonely success can feel. And perhaps that's what made this moment so powerful. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't meant to go viral. But it did. Because it was real. The song continued. Something even more unexpected happened. Members of BTS, who had been watching from backstage, were visibly emotional. Though they didn't interrupt the performance, their presence added another layer to the moment. Because they knew They understood. They had walked that same path, shared the same sacrifices, felt the same distance from family. And in that moment, it wasn't just Jungkook's story. It was BTS's story. A story of dreams, distance, and the quiet pain behind global success. As the final notes approached, Jungkook took a deep breath, trying one last time to steady himself. The crowd remained silent, respecting the weight of the moment. And when the song ended, there was no immediate applause, just silence, the kind of silence that speaks louder than any scream. And then, the stadium erupted, not with excitement, but with emotion. Fans were crying, hugging each other, holding their light sticks tighter than ever before. It wasn't just a concert anymore. It was a shared experience, a moment that connected millions of hearts through one person's vulnerability. But even as the applause filled the air, one question lingered in everyone's mind. What really happened behind the scenes that night? Why did Jungkook choose that song? And what truth is he still not telling the world? Because according to some insiders and fans who noticed subtle details, there might be more to this story than what we saw on stage. And what was discovered afterward has only made this moment even more heartbreaking. But what really happened after the lights went down that night is where the story becomes even more emotional and far more complex than anyone expected. Because as the cameras stopped rolling and the cheers slowly faded into the night, something unusual caught the attention of a few staff members and fans who were close enough to witness it. Jungkook didn't immediately return backstage like he usually does after a performance. Instead, he stood there, frozen, as if he was still trapped inside the emotions of the song. For a few seconds, he simply stared into the crowd, not as an idol looking at fans, but as a human being searching for something or someone. Those who were watching closely said his expression changed. It wasn't just sadness anymore. It was something deeper, something heavier, something that words can't easily describe. And then, slowly, he bowed his head. Not the usual polite bow, but a longer one, filled with meaning. A bow that felt like gratitude, or perhaps an apology. Moments later, as he finally walked off stage, the members of BTS were seen waiting for him. There were no exaggerated reactions, no loud, comforting gestures, just quiet understanding. One of the members gently placed a hand on Jungkook's shoulder, guiding him backstage. That small gesture alone spoke volumes, because sometimes the deepest emotions don't need words. Backstage, according to whispers from insiders and interpretations from fans, Jungkook remained unusually quiet. This wasn't the energetic, playful maknae that everyone knows. This was someone reflecting, someone overwhelmed, someone possibly reliving memories that had been buried for a long time. And that's where the theories began. Some fans believe that this performance was planned long before the tour even started. That Jungkook intentionally chose a song for Mama as a tribute, perhaps because of something personal happening in his life. Others think it was a spontaneous decision, driven by emotions that suddenly surfaced in that exact moment. But there's one detail that made everything even more intriguing. Earlier that day, during soundcheck, Jungkook was reportedly seen practicing a completely different setlist. A more upbeat, energetic lineup that matched the usual flow of a BTS concert. So why the sudden change? Why replace it with one of the most emotional songs ever written? Was it a last-minute decision? Or was it something he had been holding back, waiting for the right moment to reveal? Fans began digging deeper, analyzing past interviews, old live streams, and even subtle comments Jungkook had made over the years. And what they found painted a picture that was both beautiful and heartbreaking.